So I guess I'll just use this opportunity to speak my piece. But the other day, Mr. President said that the pandemic is over, and I'm just listening, and I'm just like, whatever. I really don't listen to much that some of these political people and these media people and these actors really have to say. I don't really listen to them much. But I was talking with my homeboy, and I was like, man, a lot of people owe me an apology for how they responded to me, and how they called me stupid, and how they said that you're not a doctor, you don't know anything. They told me all that, just for 2 years later, the sky never fell. And now what? They're just gonna act like nobody said anything this whole time. And then they're gonna say, well, what about all the people that died? And I'm just like, well, you act like death is not anything natural. People die all the time. And then it's like, so you're telling me that, all those people that tested for this and that, they didn't have anything? And then my answer is yes. Because it's like, you test for one thing and then you're positive for it. Why don't you test for another thing? You may be positive for that too. But, the truth, it doesn't matter to some people. What matters is just that their ego be validated, because that's all they have. And it's really sad that people are just so ego-driven. It's kind of easy to manipulate people like that. All you gotta do is just appeal to their ego, and then you pretty much got them. You got people walking around still. Well, let me not beat up on people. That's low-hanging fruit. But I'm just like, this should really cause everybody to pause. What's up, Karima? This should cause everybody to like pause and really just question everything. Because it was blatant, like they were lying the whole time, and they were just gaslighting everybody. And it's like, okay, well, if that wasn't real, then maybe something else is not real. Maybe VIH is not real. And I said that the other day. But it doesn't matter to some people. People just don't care about what's really true. That's why people are stuck in like this. Am I not live? Camera's not live? Okay, there I go. What keeps them running on that hamster wheel of delusion is just people feeding their ego. And, it's really just, I try not to be so, like, disgusted, but, man, it's really pathetic. It's really pathetic that some people just never want to grow up and, face reality. That's why there's so many not mental illnesses, but that's why this whole mental illness thing is like it's like a thing, because people just don't want to face reality. They're just stuck in their delusion, and when their delusion is not validated, they just break down. They're like, oh my God, like, oh, I got mental health issues and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, well, maybe if you face reality, you wouldn't have mental health problems and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes reality is scary, but fear is all contingent on our beliefs. Because if we press forward knowing that we're gonna make it, there's really nothing to fear. It's no longer fear, it's just opposition. You know what I'm saying? And opposition is made to overcome. Opposition is in our lives so we can overcome, not succumb to it. But I really just encourage everybody to really just just don't pay attention to what's in front of you and around you. don't close your eyes and ask somebody else to interpret what they see. Close your ears and just open your eyes and look for yourself. Drown out all the noise and you decide what's in front of you. Because if you let other people tell you, they're gonna tell you that something that it ain't. And then if you're one of these, if you're a feeble-minded person, you're just gonna go along with it. And with somebody like that, they're just gonna manipulate you, and they're gonna feed that delusion that you have, and they're gonna keep you in that state of delusion to where you never break out of it, and you're never gonna overcome, and you're always just gonna be frustrated. And then you're gonna be one of these people talking about you need to tend to your mental health. And again, I know that life is hard. People don't understand like the things that others go through, but they wear it just well. You'll never know that you're going through it. So it's like, you think it's all good with them, but they're not. But they're just trying to deal with what they got going on. Because they're facing reality. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm in traffic, so I'm just like, talking my shit. Because traffic is like 24/7 in Houston, and I'm not trying to complain or be negative. It's kind of talking about mental health. Like this will drive you crazy. This traffic in Houston. Shit. Anyway, so what's been going on? What else is happening? Celebrities, I don't care about them. What else? The school system. So school started. So everybody that have kids, you really have to be involved in your kids' lives. Not their lives, of course you're in their lives. I'm talking about their educational process, because at the end of the day, if they don't learn their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, it's your fault. It's not the teacher's fault. The teacher is just there. They're just placed there for 9 months, and they're just gonna pass the children along because that's the standard of our school system now. They just pass children along. It's your job to make sure that your kids learn. And if you can't, if your child is at a state to where if they're in a grade or they're at a level that's beyond your scope of knowledge, you need to get them help. It's funny that like foreigners do so well in this country because education is free over here, but in other countries it's not free. So it's like we don't take advantage of the things that we have in front of us. I think that we should look. I'm not an advocate for the school system, but I think that if you really wanted to, you can make it work for you. You're gonna have to work a little harder as a parent, but you can do it. It may cost you a little bit more, but what is worth it? Is your child's future worth that little bit of inconvenience that you're gonna face to make sure that they really get a solid understanding of what's being taught? At the end of the day, you can really make it like with a 6th grade education. So everything past 6th grade is pretty much just working towards specialization. Reading the stock market, that's all patterns, that's all trends and stuff like that. Understanding social studies. Social studies is really just like the things that are happening in the social settings. It's what happens on the news. Like, why are certain things happening? Why are what's the cause of a high crime rate? Or how does our economy function? Or how what's up with our financial system? There was the Rothschilds, one of the Rothschilds back in the day. He said, I don't really care about a country's law. He said, give me control of their money system, and I'll control the country. And that's right. That's why I say that the only issue that's really important in politics is finance and economics, because everything follows those two things. You know, like, how can you be free if you don't have control of resources, or if you're not in full control of your finances? If you make $100 and all of a sudden they automatically take $30 off the top, is that really your money, or is that your allowance? You know, so if somebody gives you an allowance for the labor that you put in, you got to ask yourself, who's your master? Who are you really working for? You know, everybody was mad at Donald Trump for not paying taxes or whatnot, and he did pay taxes, but they were mad at him for not paying taxes when, you know, they're just mad at him because, you know, he was trying to practice freedom instead of, you know, being a slave like everybody else that has to pay taxes to this system and all that stuff. Because technically, according to the Fourth Amendment, you know, taxes pretty much violate our, you know, our freedoms, our liberties, and whatnot. You know, I think that the 16th Amendment, it said, do you teach on the stock market? I'm sorry, I'm driving, so I'm late with the response. Nah, not yet, but I'm putting a curriculum together because a lot of these things need to be application. You know, kids sit up in math class, they're like, why do I need to learn this? And I'm just like, well, if you like math or if you like money, then you like math. You just have to, you know, find where it works for you. You know, so yeah, I'm putting a curriculum together that's going to be like stock market and economics and all that stuff like that. But, man, what was I saying? I forgot. Anyway. But yeah, you know, even like physics. Physics is something that I'm, you know, that I'm really getting into heavy. It's so interesting, you know, when you talk about energy production and energy transfer, like what is really energy? And, you know, like you got all these physical laws like Newton's law of motion and thermodynamics, and how energy and matter coexist within a system, and how everything in that system is like a transfer of energy and matter. And, you know, like take for instance, like gasoline, when you oxidize gasoline, you create like chemical reactions, and those are the reactions that power our internal combustion engines, and the byproduct is carbon dioxide, but that carbon dioxide is actually matter. And what happens, like, you know, that energy that's given off, that byproduct, you know, taken in by the trees, and then they make it into, you know, an organic compound again. Carbon dioxide is not organic, even though it's carbon based. But like when we talk about carbon based things, we're talking about like reduced forms of carbon. You know, energy that's stored in carbon, these carbon based compounds, you know, reduced forms of matter. So, you know, I'm getting into that heavy, you know, that's real interesting and whatnot. And, you know, a population that can produce their own energy, man, you're talking about like total freedom from all this crap. But, you know, it's like you gotta really wake people up. I'm not gonna say wake people up. People gonna wake up on their own terms. People have to want to see it. You know, and that's something that I was thinking about today. It's like, you know, people like, well, you know, they don't have the same vision as me, or, you know, they can't see what I see, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, you don't want to get with people that don't have the same vision as you, that have no vision. Well, what it is like people that don't have the same vision as you, it's either one thing, it's either one or two things. They got their eyes closed and they can't see, or they're not looking in the same direction as you are. So it's not that they don't have vision, they just can't see what you're seeing because they're not looking in the same direction. You know, so if we all, I'm not going to say we all, but if enough people start looking in the same direction, it's going to be hard as hell to manipulate. If people start looking in the right direction, it's going to be hard as hell to manipulate them. You know, because, you know, like we've been told when we were children, knowledge is power. You know, and then once you apply that knowledge, man, you know, it's going to be hard as hell to stop that movement. It takes a lot of people like you to wake us up. I mean, I think you're already awake if you realize that it's hard to see what you don't think exists. Well, it's like I told this one chick I was talking to, you know, she had like something wrong with her eye, and like her eye was like she couldn't barely see out of it. And I was telling her about this doctor named Dr. Bates. He used to heal people of their vision, and you know, he didn't use glasses and all that stuff. He just, you know, strengthened the eye muscle, and you know, he just made the lens, the natural lens in the eye work, you know, by doing certain exercises. And you know, what I was telling her, I was like, well, first, before that eye can become whole, you first got to believe that it can become whole. And she didn't know what the hell I was talking about. It just went over her head. But, you know, she was all into the whole, I got to go to the doctor, and, you know, my OBGYN said this, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, well, you know, I mean, I can't really, if you're going to go just strictly off of what your OBGYN says, I can't help you. I want to help you. I want to help you because I love you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I learned a lot of things, you know, just trying to help the people I love. You know, it makes my mind work. But, you know, I was like, until you believe that this is possible, I'm not going to be able to help you. And, you know, lo and behold, you know, we don't talk no more. You know, because she didn't have the same, she wasn't looking in the same direction. She wants to be a part of the system. You know, and you know, it's ironic because she was one of those people that says, oh, the system is corrupt. You know, she was like a super duper feminist and all that stuff. And it's funny, like, that they hate the system, but they want to be a part of it. I don't get it. It's like crazy. You know, that's why I said that a lot of these people have cognitive dissonance and whatnot. But, you know, that's neither here or there. But yeah, you know, you gotta, once you accept that there are a lot of things are possible. You know, I'm not one of these people that say all things are possible, because all things, I mean, within reason. But, you know, like the dictates of science, you know, I think that they put in the textbooks what they want us to know. And if you really just like study some of these things, you'll see that a lot of these things are not really what it's all like, you know, what we expect that it is. You know, it's kind of like, you know, why do we use gasoline for, I went back to internal combustion engines. Why do we use gasoline? Because it's a reduced form of carbon, right? But what's really going on is that we're burning these hydrogen bonds off these carbons, and that's what's making the energy. That's what's causing the explosion. But, you know, if you burn hydrogen in the presence of oxygen, pure hydrogen, you're gonna get those explosions. And guess what the byproduct is going to be? It's not going to be carbon. It's going to be pure H2O. You know, that's the whole premise behind the hydrogen fuel cell. Yeah, cognitive dissonance. It's crazy. Anyway, well, it was nice chatting. The traffic cleared up, so I'm about to bounce. I got to go meet another student. So I guess I'll try to come back on here like this week. I've been meaning to come back on here like regularly. I don't want to talk about, like, I seen a lot of I don't know why all this red pill stuff starts coming in my feed and YouTube, and then I watch for like 3 minutes, and that's probably why, because I watch it for like 3 minutes and stuff like that. But what I see is that a lot of people are pointing out the problem and nobody's pointing out the solutions. And if people have solutions, I think there will be hope for like many people that really want to turn their life around, because there's no way you can tell me that misery is fun. I won't believe it. I think a lot of people that are suffering for the you know, the decisions that they made, you know, a lot of them just believe that they're hopeless, so they just wallow in it and just say, well, there's no hope anyway, so I might as well just own what I become. And no, that's not the way. You know, what you are, you can die to that every day and become new. That's something I really believe. That's something I've experienced. You know, but, you know, that's something I want to talk on more. You know, just want to give people hope. That's the service I want to, you know, give to my generation, Generation Y. I don't think that hope is lost. I don't think that, you know, we got to go out like this, you know, be the generation that, you know, that where the population declined because we don't have babies and stuff like that, because all of us are either depressed or vain as hell. Like, nah, we ain't going out like that. But anyway, Yup, the grace of God, you know. Yeah, you know, that's heavy. Anyway, but I'll be back hopefully tomorrow. You know, if I don't come back tomorrow, then, you know, maybe a monster ate me, maybe not. But I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be blessed.